There is no doubt that hero equipment has changed Clash of Clans forever, but has it made it better? Today we're going to have a completely unbiased and objective look at hero equipment. We're going to talk about the pros, the many cons, and then I've got some questions that I want you guys to answer in the comments below on how you would deal with hero equipment going forward. Today we're going to talk about hero equipment in totality, so not just referencing the recent balance changes, but everything in the game that's been affected by hero equipment's implementation. Whilst I'm talking about this, in the background, I'll show you a 12 pack I got with Warden Charge, mass rocket balloons. I'm going to be pushing with this attack strategy this season. It was relatively unaffected by the recent balance changes. However, if you want to see an attack strategy video on this, that's not going to be in today's video. We're talking about hero equipment. I'll link a video above where you can learn more about this attack strategy. Now, why did I feel the need to do this video? Well, obviously hero equipment is very topical talking point at the moment, but I also feel like I got it wrong with the balance changes video. Clearly, the way I thought people would take the update and the way they did was not the same, and I'm probably not in line as much with people as I was hoping to be. So I put together an extensive list and pros and cons, but this isn't from my personal opinion. I went to YouTubers who have done videos criticizing hero equipment, had a look at what they had to say about it. I asked a whole bunch of players what they thought about hero equipment, and I also had a look at a lot of community comments, not just on Blueprints videos, but other content creators' videos to see what people's issues, but also what they like about the hero equipment. So today, no real opinion from me. I'm just going to do it in the most unbiased manner possible. But that's enough of an introduction. Let's get into some of the pros. I know a lot of you are probably more interested in the cons of hero equipment, but we'll start with some of the pros here. One, attack diversity. The hero equipment has opened up so many options on the attacking end, not just with new attack strategies like the Warden Charge you see here, because Warden Charge was not a thing at Town Hall 15 or before then, but also within the same attack strategy, there are so many different ways you can do it. For instance, in this attack strategy, I could use the Rocket Spear and the Seeking Shield on the back end if I wanted, and it would kind of change how I do the army. So it's just more attack diversity, giving you more options on the attacking end, and I think that's always a good thing. Secondly, customization. You kind of get to customize which part of your armies you upgrade more so than the others. Now, there are drawbacks to this, and we'll talk about it later, but I do like the idea of customization. Another thing is it changes the meta more frequently. Now, the meta at Town Hall 16 has definitely been stale, but the meta at Town Hall 15 was pretty stale as well. Aside from the introduction of the Super Hogs, the meta stayed the same throughout the entire year. Whereas now, with hero equipment coming in and with it being extremely strong, you're more likely to get new attack strategies formed throughout the year. Another thing that I think doesn't get talked about enough, but is really important, is the hero power level balance. Now, what do I mean by that? As in how strong all the heroes are relative to each other. Because for those of you who don't know, it has been teased at Town Hall 17, there will be a new hero, but Supercell have said that you'll still only be able to take 4 heroes in your attack, which essentially means that you're gonna have to sit one of your heroes out of the battle. Now, if you did this earlier in the game, say at Town Hall 15 or before that, the Barbarian King would have been the obvious choice because all you could do with the Barb King is funnel. And there are plenty of troops in the game that are capable of doing that. But now at Town Hall 16, all 4 heroes in terms of their power level are far closer. Far closer to where now, if you told me I had to drop one hero for an attack, I would be torn, and I probably would pick the Queen, but there are some attacks I'd pick the King, and some attacks where I'd pick the Royal Champion. So the power level between all the heroes has been, the gap has been made smaller, and I think that is a good thing, even if they had to do it by making the Giant Gauntlet ridiculously strong. Another thing is it's teaching the players new skills. Not just, you know, if you want a Warden Charge, but also players, you know, if they want to use the Healing Tome or the Rage Gem, which is better for their army. They have to learn about which is better and understanding how their army works. Now, some people don't and they just spam anyway, but there is the potential for more learning to occur. And lastly, of the pros, I mean, I think the hero equipment's kind of cool. There is some really cool attacks. The Fireball, yes, it is really strong, but it is really satisfying to do in an attack. Now, I have got a neutral point here. I don't know if it's a pro or a con yet. So one of the neutral points of hero equipment is it's added a revenue stream for Supercell. Now, on paper, this sounds obviously like a con for us, but Supercell have talked about making hero upgrades that they don't have any time on it because they've been able to diversify their income streams with hero equipment. And that's why in July they tested out that hero upgrade event, and they would have been looking at their income and seeing what it looks like. Now, if they don't in the future remove hero upgrade times, then the increased income stream is obviously a con for the player. But if the hero equipment revenue allows no hero upgrade times, I think that's a pro. Even if you're at max and you're not upgrading your heroes, for the majority of the game, it's a big win. Now let's get on to the long list of cons, and what better point to start with than the ore economy. It's terrible. There is nowhere near enough ores in the game. But something that I don't quite understand is, why is the number of ores you get from the daily bonus dependent on your trophy level? This one I can't really understand. So for instance, when hero equipment first dropped, I pushed my Town Hall 11 up to 4,700 trophies because I wanted to get as many ores as possible because ores were incredibly scarce. Now that meant attacking a lot of Town Hall 13s and Town Hall 14s. Was I having fun? No, because I could only really get 2 stars every attack, but it was just the smart thing to do because ores were that rare. Whereas a Town Hall 16 that would have been farming at say 200 trophies would have been earning substantially less ores than me, and that makes no sense because it's perfectly respectable to farm at 4,200 trophies. So why should a Town Hall 11 earn more ores than a Town Hall 16, particularly because the Town Hall 16 needs the ore way more than my Town Hall 11 does? It just makes no sense. I agree that loot should be done based on trophies to give an incentive for people to push, but I don't think you can use ores as an incentive to push because they are just far too scarce to do that. I'd love to hear your opinions on that though. Another whole thing is we need more ores from drawn wars. Like, we're not deliberately trying to draw so that both clans maximize their loot. We're trying to win, but it is so hard to win a war at the moment, and particularly because you only get starry ore from clan wars, which is a whole other thing. You need to give starry ore as part of the daily bonus, but because you only get starry ore there, how are we meant to earn starry ore in this meta when I only get, say, 6, I think, when we get a drawn war? Just ridiculous. It is impossible to earn starry ore at the moment. Now, one thing that I kind of like that they did was the raid medals, but I'm going to put this down in the cons category because the problem with raid medals is that not everyone's earning a whole lot of them, and some people have to donate to themselves more because they're not in active clans. Now, if the clan recruitment tools that they had in the game were actually useful, then I would be probably put this in the pros. But not everyone has the ability to donate to themselves all the time or have their clan donate to themselves all the time. They have to use the raid medals on their clan castle, not on the ores. And essentially they're missing out on a lot of ores because the clan recruitment tool is not good enough. Another downside is a lot of the people who play Clash of Clans are completionists. They love the idea of maxing out everything, giving a certain sense of achievement, as it should be. Whereas with the hero equipment, that's not really the point. And to be honest, I don't think Supercell ever meant for this to be something that you could max out. They wanted to give you something that you could grind whilst they don't release any other content in the village. Because as you can see, there's nothing really for me to do here. But they keep the hero equipment as something to grind long term. For instance, this account here, I buy the event pass on it every single month. As you can see, nowhere near max. But it's not just that. I buy the raid medals for the starry ore and glowy ore every month. And within the event, I use all of my extra event medals to buy the equipment. I don't buy any, the ores. I don't buy any of the obstacles, anything else. Just focus on ores, and I'm still nowhere near max. And I think this has been a messaging issue from creators and from Supercell, because a lot of the creators, better creators than me obviously because I don't have max equipment, but a lot of creators have fully maxed out equipment and they're showing you it on their videos and you're like, man, I'd love to have that hero equipment. And that's why a lot of the time when I'm doing videos, I'll use my free-to-play account that you see here, which has far lower levels, still relatively upgraded, but I try and use this with lower levels because you guys can relate to it more. And I wish more content creators showcase attack strategies with low-level hero equipment. Obviously, it's not necessarily what gets the clicks, but it might, realign the community's understanding of hero equipment as not something that should be maxed. Now, don't get me wrong, I still think that's a fundamental game problem that you're making it impossible for a free-to-play player to max out. That's a problem, and that is definitely why it's deeply in the cons category. But I can understand why Supercell did it, to give us something to grind. Otherwise, it would be very boring at the moment. Haven't really had much to grind on this account either in a while, but still, needs to be better messaging from both Supercell and creators. It's not just the amount of ore you can generate that's a problem though, it's the balance of the ores is genuinely laughable. So for instance, as a free-to-play player, I have a serious problem with glowy ore to the point where I've sacrificed about 30,000 shiny ore because I haven't had enough glowy ore. What do I mean by that? I've been at 50,000 shiny ore, but barely had that much glowy ore at all. So whenever I get shiny ore, because I'm at full capacity, I don't get any of it. So I reckon I've wasted about 30,000, maybe 40,000 shiny ore. That is just such poor game management, and it's because in the event passes you get so much glowy ore and so much starry ore. Like, the balance of the ores is clearly set up for people who play, and if you who pay. And if you don't pay, well, too bad. You're gonna have to waste the ores you get, even though you don't get as many of them. So stupid, terrible, needs to be fixed ASAP. And I think the best way to fix it is just to remove glowy ore entirely. Just have shiny ore for every upgrade, and then have the starry ore for the epics, just to give them some prestige. But maybe you guys disagree. I hate the idea of glowy ore. It's so stupid. We don't need to make every third level feel important. By the way, you're about to get a laugh in a second from this terrible fireball I do. Another problem that people don't like with hero equipment is it's aggressively pay to progress. Now, I'm not going to go as far as saying it's pay to win, because you can technically unlock all the equipment for free. Technically. We'll get to that in one of the cons coming up in a second. But it is possible to unlock it for free. Now, upgrading it is far, far more difficult, and yeah, but you can save ores to where you can nearly max out the new epic equipment immediately, even if you're free to play. It just means completely giving up on upgrading any of your other equipment. So aggressively pay to progress, the biggest pay to progress thing we've ever had in the game, and as close to pay to win as Clash of Clans has ever gotten, or since at least Town Hall 14 came out. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but Town Hall 14 came out like 1 week before a World Championship qualifier. So all the people who were playing in it had to basically gem to compete. So that was quite pay to win. Another problem with hero equipment is there's no reversals or tryouts. What do I mean by that? There is no potion that allows you to try out new hero equipment. Let's say I'm tossing up between the spiky ball and the giant gauntlet, and I don't know which one to upgrade. How am I meant to find out? The only chance I ever get to use the max is in the challenges. That doesn't really count in game. There is no, like, you know, potion where you can get a maxed out set of hero equipment and test it before you invest your very important ores into it. I could definitely see Supercell bringing out a hero equipment potion, which allows you to max out a hero equipment for the hour just to test it out. That is something that I think would be good for the game. But something that would be better, but I'm less confident will happen, is a hero equipment reversal. Essentially, if a hero equipment gets nerfed into the ground, and just to be clear, I don't think any hero equipment's been nerfed into the ground by the recent balance changes, but in case it did, then you get a chance to get your ores back that you spent on that equipment and reinvest them elsewhere. Now, I could see this being a book. It wouldn't be something super common, and it might be monetized a little bit, or you get, say, one in clan games every 6 months. But something like that I think would be good, and it would make players more okay with balance changes. Even if the balance changes were worse than the current ones we've seen, I think people would be more okay with it because they wouldn't feel as helpless as they do currently. Another thing that is really annoying is that hero levels are kind of meaningless. At the moment, we've got 94 hero upgrades you have to do from level 1 to level 95. And all you get is base stats from it. That is so many upgrades. What I would do personally is condense every set of 5 levels into one. So if you upgrade your hero from level 1 to level 2, that's like upgrading your hero from level, say, 1 to level 5, right? If that kind of makes sense. And then upgrading from level 90 to 95 is like upgrading from level, I think that would be upgrading from level 19 to 20. But you get my point. You condense 5 hero levels into one, So you still do lose your hero for a week, but then those levels will be much bigger upgrades. Heroes are done in levels of 5 anyway. I think it'd be super easy to do, and I think people would like it more. Way less time with your hero down. Hero upgrades mean something. Is that not a big plus? That's something I'd love to see Supercell do personally. But arguably the biggest downside of hero equipment is for new players or people who take a break and come back. Holy, how are you meant to unlock all of this equipment? It's 1,500 gems each. Imagine you're a new player starting in 2024. I don't know why you're starting Clash this late, but starting in 2024, there is 6 epic equipment. That is 9,000 gems if you want to unlock them all. Now, some of them you could probably pass on, but there's plenty that you can't. You need the Giant Gauntlet, particularly at lower town halls. You need the Spiky Ball. 9,000 gems to get them all, and you need those gems for builders, not just the regular builders, but also the apprentice builder now. Like, you can't get that many gems, and particularly if you're a new player, seeing how monetized you would have to become to get all these gems would be an instant turn off for me. And the last con of hero equipment, it might be a pro for some of you, but I think it's a con, is that the hero equipment is way too strong. Now, it is a good thing that it is strong because it gets people invested in it, but it kind of makes the troops you bring in your army comp completely inconsequential. And by it also being way too strong, it means that it's more likely to get nerfed than buffed, and as we've seen recently, people don't like nerfs, particularly on things that they've put money into, which is totally understandable, and I'm with you on that one. So by making it extraordinarily strong, you're setting yourself up for failure later, and it's just going to be this cycle of anger from the players for something Supercell thinks they're doing nothing wrong for, but clearly are. And now I'm going to finish the video with the 3 questions I kind of hinted at earlier on. So, 1, should hero equipment ever get balanced? Only buffs? Or if balancing is okay, how would you go about it and how often would you do it? Really curious to see your thoughts on that. How frequently should a new hero equipment appear? At the moment, it looks like we're getting about 2 every 3 months, but how frequent do you guys think it should be? And do you think the balance between the troops/spells and the heroes is good? So this is kind of what I was talking about before, with troops being inconsequential because 4 heroes by themselves can take down a base. Do you think the balance between both is good? Do you think the heroes should be way stronger than the troops? Let us know down below. And yeah, if you want to have a chat about the balance changes in specific, go to our balance changes video. I'm still replying to comments on that. In this one, I want to talk in the comment section more about hero equipment generally and answering those 3 questions. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts down below.